How you get so big into food of this kind?
Hey guys, I'm fresh in from seeing Solo, a Star Wars story. Just saw it for the first time in IMAX 3D, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my first impression of it. It is going to remain spoiler free, however, I'm not going to get into anything, so you're totally safe if you haven't seen it. My general impression of the film is it was what I wanted it to be. I genuinely got everything out of it that I wanted. In general, disclaimers, for me, the most interesting part of Star Wars has always been the Jedi and the Sith and the Force and other Force, organizations and that sort of thing. So far the anthology films that have been largely not about that, aren't really about the subject material I like. And Solo is, you can kind of tell from the trailer, is a big kind of heist movie. And I like heist movies. I don't love heist movies. As much as Han Solo is a character I love and Lando Calrissian is a character I love, they're not the characters that speak to me on a personal level. So it was not about, my personal favorite characters. It was not my personal favorite kind of film. And it was not about my personal favorite kind of subject material in Star Wars. At the end of the day, it's Star Wars, so it doesn't have to force me to be excited about it. But in order to connect with me, in order to, make me feel like I was attached to the characters, it had a little bit of work to do. And I was able to enjoy it. If I can feel attached to the characters and feel endeared to the characters, and if I could care about what's going to happen, then I think if you're the type of person that likes smugglers and likes heists and likes the non-Force aspects of Star Wars, you're really, really going to love it. If Solo as a character is right up your alley, I think you're going to be really, really pleased. If you haven't been as into the new canon, if you haven't been following as many of the new movies, or you're just not really sure about it, you don't really need to see anything else to get this. You just need to kind of generically know who Han Solo is, generically know who Lando Calrissian is. You can get what's going on without really knowing anything. If you're a super fan, there's a lot in it for you. There's a ton in it for you. There's so much context. There's so many lines that will feel like throwaway lines to everyone else that are just almost every scene was another Easter egg, another Easter egg, another Easter egg, but they weren't shoehorned in. One of my complaints with Rogue One was so many of the Easter eggs just felt there, right? Like Ponda Baba and company being on Jeddah. I didn't like that because it just felt like, why were they there? Like, this is just there for nostalgia's sake. In this movie, all of the Easter eggs felt like they would be naturally there. Like, they would just be occurring. Like, it felt very used universe, and they were pulling in all the lore and pulling in all the mythos. So if you don't know the lore, you're going to be fine. If you do know the lore, you're going to feel enveloped. Just absolutely enveloped by what's going on. I will also say, watching this movie felt like reading an expanded universe novel, and not even just new canon, but this felt like just the old days when Star Wars was weird and Star Wars was fun. It felt kind of like a Legends book in a way. There was stuff that would be happening that you wouldn't think they'd put in a movie in 2018. The characters were wonderful. I loved Alden Ehrenreich as Han. But I also loved his casting. When he was just on the short list of people they might cast, he's who I wanted. I was happy when they cast him, and he didn't let me down. But it's hard for me to say if he's going to endear you to him, because I didn't need to be endeared to him. I was already cheering him on. So I can't, from a place of unbiasedness, tell you about his performance other than I was thoroughly pleased with every part of his performance. Donald Glover was great as Lando, but I don't think anyone's really going to be surprised there. But even all the other characters felt good. Like even Woody Harrelson, I was worried that when I watched the movie I was just going to see Woody, but I saw Beckett. Like I saw that character. Paul Bettany was the same thing. I was worried I was going to see Paul Bettany. I was worried I was going to see Vision, to be honest, and I saw Drayton Voss. So the movie did a very good job of making everyone feel there, making everything there. There's a couple of things that might confuse and or upset some people, but I think those same things are also going to really excite some people. Some of the Easter eggs kind of acknowledge some stuff that some people weren't as super up on. But a lot of people did really like. I was really confused going into this because I'd heard a lot of people say, don't spoil the movie for yourself. But I was very confused why that would be a problem, because there was no way there was going to be like plot twist, Han's dead and he was a clone the whole time. Like, that wasn't going to happen. Seeing it, I understand what they mean. I don't know how to explain it without making it a spoiler, but that's really it. There's moments in the film that are so beautiful and wonderful to experience for yourself. If you get them spoiled for you, it will not ruin the whole movie for you, but it will ruin a moment for you, and I think those moments are important. So that's what I would say to that too. But I highly recommend everyone see it. I'm really curious how audiences are going to react. As a super fan of the Legends universe and a super fan of the new canon, I adored this movie. I'm very curious to see how people of different kinds of fandom, or different levels of fandom, are going to respond. But I wouldn't change a scene. I wouldn't change a line. I wouldn't change anything. Now, that said, I don't necessarily know where I would rank it. I've been saying for a while that I can't rank the new canon movies. They're all too new to me. They haven't settled in. More than likely, this movie would end up somewhere middle of the road, but that's not a reflection of the quality of the film. It's a reflection, again, of it's not my personal favorite subject material. And because it's not my personal favorite subject material, it's going to be difficult for it to surpass the films that have my favorite subject material. But from a technical standpoint, I thought the film was great. I thought its editing was amazing. I didn't think it felt confusing or disjointed because it had a change in directors. I think that it was a well put together film. I don't have a problem with it. I saw it in IMAX 3D. I'm a big believer in IMAX 3D. That said, the scene in the maelstrom is probably the most important scene to see in 3D, but other than that, it's probably not as necessary as I think it's been for the other Star Wars films. But I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't, I would say that there's scenes that make it worth it, as opposed to the whole film making it worth it, if that makes any sense. But that's all I have to say on this for now. I'm going to have a lot more to say on it in the future, especially after I see it again and see how I feel seeing it for a second time. But this has been my first reaction to Solo, a Star Wars story. Make sure you're following us at Port Haven Forums on Twitter. Visit port-haven.com for even more. Until next time, keep it real and fly casual.